Hi, welcome to another edition of MTG Playback. I'm Mark, I'm an actual pastor who plays Magic the Gathering, and this whole series is where I play a game of Magic the Gathering on an arena and then talk about it. My hope is to get better at the game. That does not mean I'm necessarily playing the best deck. I'm playing a blue-white angel deck that I struggle with a lot. It's not the best deck in the world, but I'm really just focusing on my gameplay. Am I making the right decision based on the cards that I have at the time? So here we go, another game. As you can see, I'm starting off with 2 planes. No blue mana sources. My hope for this deck, my hope for this next week or so, or for the next few weeks, is just to get better and more aggressive at mulliganing. Noticing what cards I need and then deciding when to use them, when to drop down to 6 or drop down to 5. So that is my hope to improve, to get better at mulliganing, because I tend to not do that. So here we go. Let's see what happens. You'll see that I then decide, because I have no blue, I decide to, you know what, I'm going to mulligan. So I have a lot of 2-drops in here. It's not the best hand, but I do have a Seachrome Coast. I have a Plains. And so I decided, you know what? This is good enough to go down to 6. And since I have 2 Valorous stands, I'm going to get rid of it. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. All right, they're playing black deck. I see it before. All right, great. So now I drew a Giada, which is hopeful, which is great. So this is kind of how the setup I was hoping would work with this deck, though it's a little slow. Put out the Thoropix and then bring out the Giada. They play out a Hirum Mirror, which it's a card I don't see very often, right? But it's one where you can kind of mill your own deck, go through your own deck, and then get a 4/4 flyer in response that you can pump up. So I decided, you know what, let's get some damage in, and then let's bring in my Giada, Font of Hope. So the dinosaur, flying dinosaur, gives it a Ward 2, which I find extremely helpful to protect it. It just buys me a little bit more time. Now I'm assuming with this black deck, it looks like it's a mono black deck, that we're going to get a lot of murders and all sorts of things. So it's going to be problematic, and that's exactly what happens. So the first thing they do is they kill off my dinosaur. All right, so I'm going to get some damage in then. And as you notice, I only have 2 land. I didn't draw 2 lands. So I'm like, what to do here? Do I save for my Catholic Commando? Do I save for my Valorant Stance? What should I do? And here's the thing. I think I made a big mistake there. I'm trying to wait because I want to flash in my Catholic Commando. But if I know that they're going to be playing murders and stuff, I need to get something out faster. So I think I should have put out my Inspiring Overseer or another Metropolis Reformer, the idea being to get some creatures on the board. They do play this long reach of Knight, which is forcing opponents to sacrifice a creature unless they discard a card, which is a bit of a problem. So I'm trying to figure out a way of working around it. I realize I didn't do it correctly, but you'll see that in a little bit. So I'm trying to think about it. What should I do? Do I discard a card? Do I sacrifice a creature? I decided to discard a card. And get rid of my Inspiring Overseer, which I think is probably a mistake. I probably should have played that last turn. It might have changed how they played, but it would at least gotten me something big on the board, so I decided to toss out my Catholic Commando. I'm hoping that I will get a land or something to kill that long reach, and I didn't. Here's another mistake I think I made in the game, right? So I do that, and then I end turn before killing off the Long March. Like, I don't understand. I'm still getting used to sagas and how they work and how just immediate they are in the very beginning. And so I did the stack wrong. So this is on the stack, and then I decide to kill it, which was a complete mistake. Right? Like, I think what I should have tried, and I'll try this next time, is that I let that pick a sacrifice and then use the Catholic Commando's ability to kill it. I wonder if that would have worked. Right? Because it's still on the stack and it's still going to resolve. So I made a mistake there. I made a big mistake there. And I admit it. Oops. So I need to get better at that. So I still have to discard a card. I have 2 Fading Hopes, which I guess I could use. But that would have been really helpful, as you'll see. So they play a land. They seem to be getting lots of land. As you see, I'm stuck at 2. So if I had the Inspiring Overseer, I would have had a large creature already on board. If I could have then been doing more damage. I could have been putting stuff in. So this is pretty frustrating. They play an Archpriest of the Shadows, and they're pumping it up, getting it nice and big. It's my turn. And I don't get a land. So, at least I have some 2-drops and stuff, like a 1-drop, like things I can do, but this is a little freaky and scary. Now I'm getting no land. But unlike a previous video where I complained where I had no land and couldn't do anything, I can do something here. Like, I have 3 mana available. I could do something. So I saw that they're tapped out. I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get rid of this Archpriest of the Shadows and go to the next turn. And most of that is because I didn't want to use their ability. But I wonder if it would have made sense to at least, again, just pump out a big creature. Right? Start pumping. If I had a couple of big creatures out there, would that have changed how my opponent played? And so they cast a murder, and I can't rescue it. So that's a problem. They're starting, I think, they're starting to decide if they're going to start doing the mirror ability. Which is thoughtful. I think it's a good thought to have. But my sense is that their deck is a control deck. They want to control the field and then pump out some big stuff that then causes problems for everybody else. Now, I think at this time, by this point, I had like a 44, 45, 46% of each draw to draw a land, and I'm not doing it. They're down to 9 life. Right? I'm at 21, and I just don't have any land. If I had land, if I had that Catholic Commando last one more turn, like I could have done stuff. Like I could have thought this through. So I think, as you'll see, this is a game where I do not get mana. I'm mana screwed through the entire thing. But my deck is doing stuff. It's doing stuff. But my misplays of not putting the right creatures out, not trying to get damage on the board, ended up causing all sorts of problems. Again, I don't get a land. I like flashing in Catholic Commando. They get another land, so they're getting mana flooded, and I'm getting mana screwed, which is just so funny. But you know that then in this case, whoever gets like card draw and all that is going to win. An angel, a metropolitan, again. So like they could have been down to 3 now if I had just watched the board. Now I'm trying to decide what to do. I think a smarter thing here would have been getting rid of that mirror. But again, I'm trying to hold off. I want to do damage. So I think I made a mistake. I make a mistake here again. Yeah, so they play an invasion to destroy all legendary creatures. So here's what I'm thinking. Do I get rid of their artifact, or do I try to put this back in my hand just to save it? And also use the Fading Hope to do something. So I decided to do the Fading Hope to scry, to see if I can get stuff, if I can start finding lands. And I don't. I find another Fading Hope, so I put it at the bottom. I need lands. And I'm not getting anything. And also, because I don't have a land, I can't flash the Catholic Commando back out, right? Like, so I have to waste a whole nother 2 turns. And I get a Wandering Emperor. I don't get a land. So this is really frustrating. And I have nothing to protect my Catholic Commando once I slide it out. But I don't have enough mana to protect it. So I'm not feeling pretty good at this point. Again, I think my land, I still have like a 49, 48 something % chance of drawing lands each draw, and I don't. They're down to 4 life. And then they all of a sudden get their 4/4 creature. And then they play an Equal Slate. So now they're starting to get the big things out in the graveyard and out onto the field and things that they can wipe me out with. And if I got a land, or 2 lands, or something, I could do something. So by getting to this point in the game, there's not much I can do. I let this game go on too long. from what I could have. So again, flash my Cathar Commando just to have something, but I can't now flash damage. I can't go damage and do 3 damage, get them down to 1. They have a blocker. An angel. Now, there was something I could have done here. I could have attacked and just get that Eager Shade off the field. You get that Eager Shale off the field, cast the Surge of Salvation, and survive. So that's an option I could have done. I could have kept it. And see here, they do the cut down. Oh yeah, this was the mistake. What I should have done, should have attacked. Then they would have done the cut down. I could have done the Surge of Salvation, then they would have to block or go down to 1 life. So, because I did not, I skipped my combat phase, and then went to the other phase, I had to use it just to protect it 1 turn. So that's where I was trying to not be aggressive, hoping I get a land or hoping to get something, and it cost me. Now they've cast in the Phyrexian Foregoer, which has Menace, Lifelink, and Ward, right, to pay it by its power. So it's to ward it, to get rid of it, they would die if they do not cast it. Right. I can't do anything. So I think that, again, I think this was another mistake. Right? Like, I could have then used the Cathar Commando to try to then kill the Phyrexian Foregoer, and if I had killed the Inker Shade beforehand, there's not much they could do. So they're going to bring this creature, this Invasion Fiora, in. They're going to flip it. And again, this is a creature that could do damage. Right? So I'm not using my... this is just a game where I'm just not playing the cards that I have well. And sorry for that doorbell ringing that you're hearing. It's just people in the building going in and out. So I finally drew a land. I drew an island. So now I have 3 land of mana available. I have 2 3-drops, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, what do I do in this case? The problem with having 3-drops and no 2-drops is that I can't, if I cast something, I'm not going to be able to use the Cathar Commando. The Metropolis Reformer does have the ability that when damage is done to it, it gives me lifelink. So I can get 5 life, I can get 7, I can do something, right? I can at least pump myself up some more. But I think this is a misplay again on my part, where I decide to... Yeah, this is, I think, going to be a misplay on my part. My question is, do I use up all my mana or do I wait? And I should have waited. Yep. I decide, hey, maybe I can draw a land or something. And what do I draw? A Celestial Regulator, which, because I have nothing with counters, is not helpful. They're down to 3. Right? I just have to survive and get it so that they're not doing damage to me. Like, they're getting mana flooded, I'm getting the exact opposite. So frustrating. Like, this would have been a perfect opportunity. Now because I cannot kill their Phyrexian Foregoer, because I don't have any mana available, and they can just keep pumping up their creatures, there's not much I can do. They're going to start being able to pump up their life, and I am just going to die. Yep. See, this is the right move. Really? Yeah, send that in. It's got menace. It's got lifelink. That's gonna do 4. It's gonna get me down to 8. It's gonna get them up to 10. And there's not much I can do. And see, yeah, even I know I'm not playing well. So I decide, you know what? Let's see what I can do. All right, so they're at 10. I'm at 15. Now this is where something would be helpful. All right, I finally get a land. Now I have 4 lands. They're sort of tapped out. And then I decide, okay, what am I going to do? Problem is, if I had 5, I could use my Catholic Commando. Now I could flash in the Wandering Emperor. I could do something. Or I could do Celestial Regulator and just... so I decided to flash in the Wandering Emperor, knowing they only have 1 card in hand. Again, I probably should have waited. Right? And I decided, you know what, let me just get this out. They still do not technically have lethal on the board if I can get rid of this one. If I had, again, maybe I should have exiled the Phyrexian Flesh Gorger because it has ward. Well, ward is for me. I'd have to pay 7 life, so either way, it's just not great. Liliana the Veil.
Enough with the mysteries.
Yeah, sorry. I would throughout this conversation, I think I've been ward would have been on me to get rid of it, so it's just it stinks. So just frustrating. Not much I could have done. I mean, there was things I could have done. When I got mana screwed like that, there wasn't much I could do. There's my land, and I got 2 creatures, so that's it. Gonna call it a day. That wasn't great. I didn't play my best, even though I was mana screwed, I didn't play my best, and that's kind of disappointing. So, lots of room for improvement on this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me complain about myself. I hope you enjoy the series. Please feel free to leave comments, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for MTG Playback.